Hi, I thought I'd give you a quick rundown on things that are important to have in your bag. Um, First of all, my bag itself, I have a 2-4 case. This one happens to be made by Viking. I have Viking cues. It's nice to have a big pocket here, so if you have a separate jump cue, you can put the butt in there and it doesn't like fall way down in your case. Having a nice little pocket for accessories is good and incidental things you might need. Moving on from that, I had a 2-4 case. I have 2 cues and 4 shafts. What I actually have is I have a Viking Crush jump brake cue. I don't know if it's the best one out there. I do like it. One of the things I really like about it is, since I play with Viking cues, I can switch out the shaft with a playing cue if I have a friend or something that wants to play with a cue and doesn't have one with them. Then I have my regular playing cue. I do have my son's birthday engraved in the butt of the cue. That helps me identify it if anybody ever had one like it or tries to take it. And then I do have 3 of the V Pro shafts for this. A little note about my shafts. I don't like the low deflection shafts. I just want something that's a nice solid hit, so I have the regular shafts. But what I do with my shafts is I randomly pick a shaft out to play with each day. I don't want to favor one. I don't want my brain to even think there's a difference between them. So a couple things happen with that. One is they all have similar wear and tear on them, so I don't notice a difference and the tips will play the same. So if I damage a tip in the middle of a match, I can switch it out and it doesn't mentally affect me, like some people might get thrown off if their favorite shaft loses their tip or something. Moving on, I have a 2 cue claw. It's just nice to be able to hold it up against a table or something. I just have 2 because I have 2 cues. You can get a bigger one if you want to share it with your teammates or something like that. I have a Willard shaper. It's got a nice little gauge to see if you got the right radius on your tip. I have the nickel. I tend to recommend having a flatter tip. It's more forgiving. If you get a really pointy tip and you're hitting the ball off to the side, a lot of times you start miscuing. I also have a couple of gloves in my case. A couple of things I've found with gloves is, one, I've seen some that have like a Velcro closing, similar to a golf glove or a baseball batting glove. I don't like that, it kind of gets in the way. Another thing for me is I'm actually a left-handed person, but I play right-handed, so I wear my glove in my left hand. Of the gloves, this one has closed tips on the fingers, but I prefer having an open tip, not for what it does for playing pool, but when I'm done with the game and got to go write a score down in a league or a tournament, I don't have to take my glove off to hold a pencil very well. Next thing, I tend to recommend have a bag with some chalk in there. So if you're traveling around or you're at a tournament and there's not a piece or not a good piece, you can have one. One little note about chalk itself. Right now I only have 1 piece in here. But what I tend to mostly play with is just the master chalk. I don't think you need to go get the super fancy chalk. You can try it if you want, but for something that's easy to lose, I see them get it left around. Master chalk's a reasonable price and works pretty well. The caveat to that is, I'll say, if you have it available, sometimes using triangle chalk when it's really hot and humid, it tends to work better. The master chalk almost starts to turn into like a clay type of texture and doesn't work quite as well. And a lot of times I find the triangle chalk in hot, humid weather works better. You might want to try it if you have access to it, but the master chalk works all right. A couple things I don't have in my case that I probably should if I traveled around a little bit more. I'd keep a bottle of Advil or something. So if you do have an ache or a pain that's bothering you or a headache, you can pop an Advil. Hopefully you feel a little better a little bit later. Another thing that's kind of nice to have in your case that I don't have is have a rag or something, kind of wipe off the tips of your cues before you put them in your case. That helps keep your cue cleaner and nicer, and you don't get a mess inside your case. So let me know if this video helps you at all. Please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.